It's a man, I had to get his name. I think he actually went to hell. He said he went to hell. And he said that he was in the house of fellowship for years. He felt like he was doing everything right. And God told him, "You're not doing everything right." And he made it his ministry to let people know that certain things that we're doing, it ain't right. And we think we're doing it right because we programmed it that way. We're programmed that way, and it's not what God would have us to do. And we got to be careful. Like, we look at Jesus and the disciples as an example. He sent them out by twos. It was power. So that spirit had to go. Matter of fact, I'm talking about a God where people tore the roof off the house to get their healing. Let us try to tear down a roof around one of these house fellowship roofs around here.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm saying. They were tearing off the roof because Jesus had power. Same power we supposed to have. They were tearing down the roof to get their healing.
Roof off.
True revival. That's true revival. We can talk a good talk, but they ain't got no power behind the talk.
I mean, Jesus, boy. I mean, had to try to run into the mountains to get peace. People steady running behind him to hear the word.
And it was times where he needed to be alone.
Yeah.
He needed to be alone.
And that's what we're talking about as far as that consecration.
If you ain't got it, that's that 40 day. He was getting ready.
40 days, 40 nights. Then you had John the Baptist, the voice crying from the wilderness. He had to be out there alone.
He was alone. It's a lonely place.
Yeah, it's a connection.
It's a lonely place.
Now, before you get to that next step, it's a connection with being alone,
Yeah.
being consecrated.
When I went through my spiritual enlightenment or edification, I was alone. At that time, I had left where I was, and I was alone. I mean, I was faithfully in that word, praying, crying out, reading, studying, keeping my mind straight, staying away from distractions, making sure that my energy was positive. I had to have that positive energy around me, no negative energy. And it took 6 months to a year to get there.
That time.
And I experienced both. You can't tell me God ain't real. You can't tell me the devil ain't real. And you can't tell me that Jesus' name don't work, because it did. Can't tell me these things. I've been there, done that. A consecrated life requires prayer. And God said it so many times. God's saying, keep my commandments and my statutes. Keep my commandments and statutes. That's what he said. Keep my commandments and statutes. Stay in my word. Stay consecrated. Stay dedicated. That tree planted by the river
won't be moved.
It had everything it needed. Everything. And we living in a time where, and it's the thing, we talking about all this stuff that's going on. They're talking about sacrificing, human sacrificing, and all this different stuff that's going on. It's behind the scenes. So it's allegedly. But the Bible that I read, it said that they were running to the hills to get away from God, because they saw something that was scared them. And most people that I've read in the Word, when they was in the presence of God, they lost strength in their arms, their legs. They couldn't stand. They just fell like dead to the ground.
Scared.
So what are we going to do when we get to that point that all this stuff that we're preaching about, all this stuff that we're hearing about, we actually see? When it get real? Because some people, you going through the motions, it ain't real. It's fake. Because you ain't seen nothing. You ain't experienced nothing. When we should be writing new textbooks.
And it's common. Like, people going to probably experience stuff that hopefully they be in preparation for, and they can be able to handle it. But then you going to have people that ain't going to be ready for it. Because they talk about the prophesizing and all that, in the last days.
When it get real. Because God already said, he said that the government, it said the stone without hands, the cornerstone. But in the book of Daniel, it talked about the nation was weak. That cornerstone, hit that statue and it crumbled.
Yeah, sure the rest of it will break down each power.
Spiritually, we are weak. That's where we are. That's what them toes look like for the spiritual part of us. That's how God's people constantly got in trouble, because they forgot who God was. God would deliver them out of situations, bring them out, and then all of a sudden they forgot who God was. We living in a generation that have lost connection with God. And we have a form of godliness, and we deny the power thereof. We have lost connections with God, and the spirit is weak. The government is corrupt. He said, I'm going to destroy this government. I'm going to set up my government. His government. What did I tell you about this government? And we said it so many times, Matthew 4:4, showing the kingdoms of this world, and Satan saying, if you worship me, I will give it to you. He's showing his authority and power here on earth, what he can do. Yep. Then we got people that won't even study for themselves, won't even pray for themselves. And I'm going to say it again. Marvel, no. Though Lucifer came as an angel of light, so shall his ministers. Now, when this new government, when the devil is given his time to do his dirt, and these beasts are in place, and these two beasts, one coming out of the water, one coming out of the earth, one of them is going to be religious. And I ain't talking about no good religion. He gonna have power. You're gonna see so many things coming, because it's gonna get to that point. Because if I'm telling you that these people in the background, these money maker people that's doing all these sacrifices and human sacrifices and stuff, and they know that their God is real, but we playing about our God being real. When I say we playing because Satan's kingdom is organized. We playing. Weak. Why did God say a raiment is gonna make it in? A raiment, y'all? Come on. Ain't a lie. The gateway to heaven is narrow, but hell is broad. Why? Hell's so broad. And then you think they don't know what's going on. They know what's going on. It's intentional.
And then the scripture said hell is
enlarging herself daily.
Most people dying every day going to hell.
People being promoted. Satan promoting his people, because he got his folks with a following, selling music, doing these actors, doing these trifling movies and entertainment. They doing their job, but we sitting here with two ministers in the church that we won't even send out to do no work. We stuck. We sitting here, they sending out they posse. I was stuck in four walls and won't move. Stuck. Going through the motion. Bring your tithes and offerings to the storehouse. You robbing God. Twisting scriptures for their glory. You better not leave here until I get $10,000 in this plate. And you sitting there like a fool. You buying into the lies. You buying into the deceit. It is not intended for you to keep these people in captivity when there's work to be done in the vineyard.
Gosh, oh my. And I feel
you're blocking the movement. You're blocking. So much stuff can be accomplished if you let God's, it's like Pharaoh, let God's people go. Let God's people go out and do the work of the kingdom, what they're supposed to do. Because they own it. Right here, what we're doing right here with this podcast is a platform.
And Satan on it. 24 hours, no lunch break.
20 on it. Stealing your children. Corrupting your kids. Don't remind you, hell is doing what? Yep. And they dying young.
Yep.
Dying young. And we sitting there worried about what's coming in the collection plate. Something that ain't nobody's business, no way.
And we definitely got a segment we're going to do concerning, our youth, man. Our youth. It needs something to guide, because it's failing. Like, the system is failing our kids. And I ain't just talking about the government system either. Y'all can fill in the blanks. But
we are failing.
Community, as house fellowship, as a government, our kids are experiencing a whole lot more than ever right now, and they are dying.
Mm-hmm.
Not only physical, but they dying spiritual. They are dying. And something got to give because Jesus' concern was the kids.
Yeah.
Because he said if you harm any of them,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like putting
A
a
milestone
millstone around
around the
your
neck.
neck and throwing yourself into the ocean.
And this the main thing. Satan don't wait until you in your 30s and 40s and 20s to attack you. He's attacking these babies little. We already know that. We already know that with the allegedly, I'm gonna tell you, trafficking is $1 billion industry. We already know that. The government know it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you know what's going on. How can you sit there and see what's going on and don't do anything? That's the part that we're talking about. This is why Christ is coming back. This is why the change gotta come.
Mm-hmm.
Same time with Noah. They were doing the same things back then that we seeing now.
Yep. And the thing about rushing in, we're not gonna sugarcoat it.
Nope.
I think that's gonna separate. You know what I mean? You don't like us or love us. It ain't about us anyway.
We gotta do something different.
Yes, got to.
The people that's supposed to be on the forefront is on the back end doing nothing. That's a problem. And I ain't saying everybody because God church, if you out there doing what you supposed to do, we ain't talking about you.
We commend you.
We support you. Continue.
Hit up with us if we could try to help you any way we can. You know what I mean?
We need to use our mouth. It's sad how people that's out ready to do parties. Man, if I say I'm going to a party right now, everybody want to be there. Where I'm drinking, smoking, doing some of everything. But if I say I want to set up and talk about God for people, that's what we're experiencing now.
Yeah.
But the problem is you're not making yourself known. You can do more work outside of them four walls than you can in. I'm not saying don't have people in place there for those that are coming. But I'm saying don't have 11 ministers, 13, 14 ministers sitting in that congregation just sitting there. Send them out. Jesus sent them out. Get more done that way. Don't try to contain them. If they feel like God moving them another way, don't try to hold them back. Everybody's walk is individual, is personal. God gonna tell you where your position is and what you're supposed to be doing. We need more people on the outside working. You talking. We need to have places for feeding people. You need to go to the prison system and minister to those people. You need to clothe people. We need housing for people. We need to do the work. God has pretty much told us what we supposed to be doing. Why are we so lazy? Lamps don't have no oil in them. We got too much work to be doing. And I feel so, oh my God, I'm so concerned about our youth. We are so concerned about our youth. Oh my God. These are our future leaders.
This is Rushing In.
Rushing In.
Yep.
We out. Make sure you subscribe.
Subscribe. Share.
Yes.
We love y'all. We out.